Namaskar. Namaskar and welcome to the Eikam series of the Gita on the go. Over the last 6 conversations, we have actually spoken from chapter 7 to chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita. But more importantly, as we spoke of the last time, the Bhagavad Gita has this broad structure which is divided into 3 parts based on the Mahavakya from the Samaveda, which is Tat Tvam Asi. Chapters 1 to 6 cover Tvam, the understanding of the nature of the human being. And that is where we explored each of ourselves and all of us as human beings through Arjun in the middle of the battlefield and through his pain, his grief, his misery, his insecurities, his fears. And therefore, we understood the nature of Tvam, the human being. In these chapters, from chapter 7 to chapter 12, we actually understand the nature of the universe, this context to which we all belong. And in this context, the first chapter, which is chapter 7, which is the Jnana Vijnana Yoga. This is where we understood the nature of the material universe, that which is Mahat. And this is where Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks to Arjun and tells him that everything in the material universe, the 3 things that we spoke of, the first of which was the composition of everything that is the material universe. And Bhagavan Sri Krishna informs Arjun and educates him that everything that we experience in the material universe, everything that is Mahat, is a composition of the 5 elements, the Pancha Mahabhuta, which we know as Akash, space, Vayu, air, Agni, fire, Prithvi, earth, and Jala, water. So the 5 elements and the 3 elements, which is the Mahat, the small ego, the Aham. So the Aham, the Manas, and the intellect. These 8 elements interwoven with the 3 gunas, the 3 gunas of Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. The entire tapestry of the material world is some combination or some permutation or some weave that has happened between these 8 elements, the Pancha Mahabhuta and the mind, the intellect and the ego, interwoven with the 3 guna of Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. What was also very important on this to understand is that while we have the 8 elements, which is our physical bodies composed of the 5 elements and the mind, the intellect, the ego, the guna, I am present in them. They make me. I am present in the gunas, but they are not me. They are what flow through me, but they are not. I am present in them. What's also very important in this conversation is that this nature of the material universe is understood by some kind of people and it is not understood by some kind of people. The 4 kinds of people that do not understand or that cannot have access to this nature of the material universe are the lazy, the delusional, the arrogant, and the ones with an ego. And similarly, there are 4 people who actually can have access and who will always understand the nature of this material universe, which is the Arati, somebody who is in trouble, the Artharthi, somebody who is looking for material gains, the Jnanasu, the person who is curious and wants to know more, and the Jnani, which is the wise. This essentially was the context of the Jnana Vijnana Yoga, which talks about the nature of the material universe and who has access to it. Well, if there is a material universe, then there is also the non-material universe, the universe that is apratyaksha, that which is unmanifest. That universe is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna discusses about in chapter 8, which is the Akshara Brahma Yoga. In the Akshara Brahma Yoga, which is about understanding that indestructible Brahman, Bhagavan Sri Krishna explores the nature of the Brahman. And just as he talks about the nature of the material universe in the context of the Pancha Mahabhuta and the 3 guna, he talks about the nature of that indestructible Brahman in the context of its nature, which is the Sat, the truth, the Chitta, the consciousness, and the Ananda, the bliss and the memory. This is what we aspire to, and this is what we belong. Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks to Arjuna about how do we gain control or access? How do we access this Brahman? How do we access this Sattva, Chit and Ananda? And there he talks to him about how this is accessible through contemplation. This is accessible through control of the body, of the mind, of the breath, and contemplation on the Omkara, the Nada Swara, the Swara that aligns all of our material existence with that great Brahman. Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks about, because remember, when we place ourselves in this universe, we place ourselves in the context of space and time. We've covered space and material universe as part of the Jnana Vijnana Yoga. We've covered some part of space and the ether that's beyond us and that's indestructible Brahman as part of the Akshara Brahma Yoga. But here he talks about time. And it's important to understand time in the context of the Brahman. Because time, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells Arjuna this beautifully, where he says that time is the relative, that we've heard of from Einstein as well. But he says the only time that exists is now. It's in the here and the now. And that time is absolute. Having thus established the nature of both the manifest through Jnana Vijnana Yoga and the nature of the unmanifest through the Akshara Brahma Yoga, this is where Bhagavan Sri Krishna then steps into to explain to us that secret of existence, which is the chapter 9, which is the Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga. The knowledge which is secret, the knowledge which is powerful, it's the royal knowledge and it's the royalest secret. And what is the secret? Hey Arjuna. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna explains to Arjuna that secret of the fact that at any given point of time, you're in the manifest and you're in the unmanifest. It's like the ocean. You can be a droplet of water in the ocean. You can be a wave in the ocean. You can be the whole ocean itself. And you can be the water which makes up that ocean, which gets defined as the ocean. And this is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna calls the Jiva existence, the existence which is the existence as the wave. Not even the particle existence is not even recognized. But as the wave, your existence is the Jiva existence. As the ocean, your existence is the Ishvara, that from which you arise and that into which you fall. And then there is the Brahman existence, which is what water is, which is from where everything arises and into which everything dissolves. This is the Raja Vidya Raja Guhya. As part of the Raja Vidya Raja Guhya, Bhagavan Sri Krishna also tells Arjuna that don't just stand on the shore and sip this water. Go, dive in. Have faith, just dive in and I will provide for you. That's the secret. The only thing that you need to do when you step into this vast ocean to experience that huge divine cosmos and the unmanifest is have faith, have devotion and have dedication. You need to come in with Shraddha, with Bhakti and with Vishwas. And I am promising you, and this is the secret that I am imparting to you, hey Arjuna, that I will provide for you. I will take care of you. I will make sure that you experience this divine, not just in sips, but absolutely dive into it. And that is how Bhagavan Sri Krishna then explains to Arjuna, the whole idea of the Vibhuti Yoga. What is this glory that you're missing out on? Having thus understood the nature, or at least theoretically having been explained the nature of the manifest, of the unmanifest, and the secret that I am there to take care of you, come here, Arjuna. Let me give you a glimpse and a little experience of the manifest. And this is where beautifully Bhagavan Sri Krishna explains to Arjuna the Vibhuti Yoga, the divine glories that await Arjuna. And this is where Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks about The fact that in order to make that jump, in order to rise beyond petty existence, Bhagavan Sri Krishna exhorts Arjuna that look, you need something larger to hold on to. You need something divine to glimpse. And therefore, in this entire context and the entire conversation on the Vibhuti Yoga, Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks about these divine glories. He gives examples and metaphors of that which is absolute divine. So how, if you are contemplating on the gods, contemplate on Indra. If you're contemplating on the mountains, contemplate on the Himalaya. If you're contemplating on the Vedas, contemplate on the Samaveda. And actually, why the Samaveda? Because Samaveda is actually where the Mahavakya is Tattvam Asi. This is that. You are that. And therefore make that journey from you are that into you and experience the divine glory. Once you have experienced the divine glory, and therefore Arjuna, in order for you to be able to experience these divine glories, it'll allow you to rise above yourself, to rise above your manas, your buddhi, your vivek, your mundane, into the divine. And sip it, dive into it, experience it. Experience it till you can see that all these mundane different pots that you are seeing are all part of the same clay. It's the same clay that makes all the pots you see. Have the ability to recognize that divine in everything you see. Contemplate on the Vibhutis, the divine glories. Having contemplated the divine glories, Bhagavan, and you would have therefore risen above the mundane. And where I thought that here was Arjuna at his ecstatic best, where he is able to see the Lord in everything, where he is able to rise up and see the best, the most divine in everything he perceives. And then Bhagavan Sri Krishna takes him to the even greater experience of ecstasy and of Ananda. When Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks and gives Arjuna the VishwaRupa Darshan. This is where Bhagavanji actually tells Arjuna that, you know what, now that you have been able to see the clay on the pots, can you look at a piece of clay and see all the pots in it? And Arjuna is stupefied because Arjuna is saying, how can I can see the unmanifest when I see the divine glories, but how do I become part of it? There is still me. I am still retaining my identity while there is the unmanifest, the great unmanifest. And this is where Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, hey Arjuna. And this is where Bhagavan Sri Krishna shows him that divine VishwaRupa Darshan, which is the universe, which is all the universe, which is so overwhelming. It contains the cosmos, the universe, the galaxies evolving and merging into each other. It sees the end of the war. It sees everything. And that's when Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that Arjuna, hey Arjuna, this you were able to see because this you were able to diffuse that boundary of your ego. Where not only were you able to see the clay in all the pots, but also able to see all the pots when you see the clay. The moment that boundary is diffused, Arjuna, you have the entire cosmos to experience. It is yours. And this is where Arjuna is terrified. He is overwhelmed when he sees that control is within him. And when he sees the VishwaRupa and the entire cosmos, it really is too much for him to bear, to hold, to live with. And that is when he begs Lord Sri Krishna. He says, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, please, I have seen this, I have seen the VishwaRupa, but I cannot hold it. It is beyond me. I am but a mere human. I need you in your four-armed form, which I can touch, taste, feel, relate to, and I can be anchored with. Please, hey Bhagavan Sri Krishna, return to your four-armed form. And interestingly, by the way, those four arms in the nature of the Tat are actually the Pancha Mahabhutas is one arm, and the remaining three are the ego, the manas, and the buddhi. Those are the four arms of Vishnu. And thus, Bhagavan Sri Krishna returns to that form that he holds on the field. And this is where Arjuna then asks him, saying, and this is where we step into the last of the nature of the Tat, which is the Bhakti Yoga, where Arjun asks Bhagavan Sri Krishna, I have seen the manifest, you have explained the manifest, and I've seen the manifest. You have explained the unmanifest, I have seen and experienced the unmanifest, I've become part of the unmanifest. I am not different from you, you and I are the same. But tell me, hey Lord, which of them shall I follow? Shall I focus on the manifest or shall I focus on the unmanifest? And this in the Bhakti Yoga is when Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells him, Arjun, it does not matter. All paths lead to the divine. Tum karma karo ya bhakti karo ya jnana karo, all the roads lead to the divine. All that you need to ensure is कि तुम जो भी path कर रहे हो, that needs to be done with proficiency, with sufficiency. There needs to be a lot of that, enough of that. It needs to be done well. There should be proficiency and it needs constancy. And therefore, this is where he talks about bhakti. This is where Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that having experienced this bliss, the Ananda, you can't stay in that state eternally. It's an ephemeral state. So you come back and then you strive towards it. You walk towards it. And this is where he uses. And therefore, like Bhakta Prahlad, who saw Vishnu in everything, who saw Narayan in everything that he saw in the pillar, in the tree, in the palace, in the people, everywhere. The Bhakta Prahlad saw Vishnu in that path and in that manner of bhakti. Hey Arjuna, follow that journey. But in order for you to be able to make sure that you follow the path of bhakti, to reach that divine experience, to reach the Brahman, there are 4 paths, there are 4 things that need to be done. The first is Nitya Anitya Vivek. Arjuna, you need to have the discretion, the discrimination between what is Nitya, everyday, and what is temporary and what is eternal. That judgment you need to apply. कि तुम किस चीज की भक्ति में हो, क्या नित्य है, क्या अनित्य. The second one, and this is again something that Bhagavan Ji has spoken of so much of when we did chapters 2 to 6 through Karma Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The idea of detaching yourself from the karma phala. So, having the sense of knowing what the Ihamutra Phala Bhoga Vairagya is. The ability to do the karma and detach yourself from the phala. And this is what we covered when we did the whole portion on karma. The third aspect or the third quality that you need for being a true bhakta is the Shadashampati. The 6 qualities that allow you to progress along the path of bhakti. And these 6 qualities are Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Samadhana, and Ashtadha, faith. And once having done, there needs to be that last quality of the bhakta, which is mumukshatva, which is the desire to have freedom, desire to achieve liberation. And only then, hey Arjuna, will you be able to reach the divine. With this, we've covered as Tat, the nature of the universe, the cosmos, the manifest, the unmanifest, that which is the divine VishwaRupa, that which is the glories and the absolute divinity of the Vibhuti, the nature of the Akshara Brahma, the Nada Swara, the nature of the sound. And we've covered our path to this journey, which is through the path of bhakti. The way I like to understand is actually that simple thing of saying, of the ability to rise beyond your own self. The ability, like we said, of seeing, of being outward and of seeing clay in all the pots, but also being able to diffuse the barrier between me and the other, in order to be able to see all the possible paths in the clay. And the moment we are able to do that, the world opens up. It is our cosmos. We become the Brahman. And that then becomes the journey from Tat Tvam Asi to Aham Brahmasmi. I am the divine infinite universe within myself. And with this, we welcome you as we start exploring chapters 13 to 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, which will focus on Asi. Tvam, that which you are. Tat, that, what is that? How do you get to that? What is the nature of that? And then Asi. How do you make that journey and the transition from Tvam to the Tat is what we will start exploring. Thank you for being with us on this journey of the Gita on the go as we dedicate ourselves and offer ourselves in allowing the Bhagavad Gita to permeate through us. Namaskar.
Na 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 na